Hello students, so today I'll be explaining the solve exercise from the chapter object oriented programming. So uh, today so if you see the textbook, you'll see that question number 18 from the solve exercise, what will be the output of the following program. So this kind of programs questions are actually very important, that is to find the output or to find the error. So the answer is already given, but you have to understand this program logic, so as different programs logic might come. So now here in this program you can see that int area, int s, this is the call function. So this function, it returns an integer value, and it accepts this parameter of integer type, that is this s, and it returns the value of after executing this formula, that is to the calling function. Similarly here, the return type is float, and it passes two parameters of integer type. So here you can see that the function name is same. However, you have learned in the previous video that using function overloading, so this is function overloading, where the same function name can be reused provided the return type or the parameter type and the number of parameters or arguments differ, right? So since the function name may be same, but in this case the return type is different, or even if the return type might be same, instead of float, if this is int, the parameter type, the number of parameters or the parameter type should differ. So this also returns a value back to the calling function. So in the main function, cout area 5. Now this is the calling function. So now, as you can see within the parenthesis, the argument 5, so which is an integer value. So the calling function, so the main function will invoke the calling function, and it will search for the function name, that is this area, and the parameter which accepts integer value. But since there's only one integer value, so this value will not be passed to here, because here there are two variables, but in the case of this there's only one integer variable, right? So that value will be passed to here, and then after executing the formula, the value will be returned back to the calling function, and cout will display the output 25. Then control comes back to the next line statement, so cout area 4, 3. So 4 and 3 are also integer values. So now you can see that two arguments has to be passed. So now the calling function will call this call function instead of this, because here you can see that two parameters are there of integer type. So 4 will pass to b and 3 will be passed to h. Then return the value, so that is 4 into 3 into 0.5. So where you return the value, you get 6 as the output, right? Again, cout area, within the parenthesis you can see that 6 comma area 3. So now this is the calling function, all right? So this is the calling function, and within the parenthesis of the calling function, you can see that again there's another calling function. Now within the parenthesis, as you know that parenthesis has the highest priority, so what is there within the parenthesis will be executed first. So this calling function will be invoked second, but this calling function will be invoked first, that is area 3. So here you can see that this is the calling function which passes the value 3. It passes only one value. Since it passes only one value, in that case it will not be passed to here b and h, but it will be passed this to s. All right, so again this formula will be executed. So you can see that the call function or the function body can be reused again and again, first by this calling function and again by this calling function. Right, so you can see that the code reusability is there, which makes the program more efficient. And then not only that, complexity of the program decreases, the length of the program decreases. So now area 3, that will be passed 3 into 3, so 9. So that 9 will be returned back here. So in place of the calling function, the value 9 will be here. Now again this calling function will invoke this call function, that is 6 comma 9. So now then 6 9 will be executed, that is 54 into 0.5, then you'll get the output 27. All right, so this is how you execute this particular program. All right, now after that, the next program is program on this polymorphism. So now here it shows that function overloading implementing the polymorphism. All right, so function overloading is also an example of this polymorphism. So like a polymorphism is like uh, the ability where, okay, that particular function or of the ability of one thing, it can be taken into many forms. All right, so in the case of function overloading also, you can see that the same function name can be used in different ways, or for in different ways for different formulas, right? So now in so here we include so this particular program is using function overloading to calculate area of rectangle, triangle using Hero's formula, and area of circle. So three formula has to be executed. So now we have to include the math.h header file, because certain mathematical keywords will be used in this particular program. So now at the beginning we have the function prototype, so function declaration. So the return type is float, the function name is area. Right, so in this case three parameters are passed, that is a, b, c, all are of float type. In the second function prototype, it's same, two parameters, that is l and w, and in the last one only one parameter, that is r, all are of float type. So now in the main function, as you know that the main function will be executed first by the compiler. So here you are declaring the variables character ch, then float. Of float type, the variables are length, width, n1, n2, n3, and area, and then radius of float type. Now again, int choice 1. So this is the option choice. So now a prompt is given from the monitor screen. 1 for area of triangle, 2 for area of rectangle, 3 for area of circle. So now another prompt is given, enter the choice. That means which one do you want to choose? Is it 1 or 2 or 3? So since 1 or 2 or 3 has to be chosen, right? So now C in choice 1. So choice 1 will store the integer value either 1 or 2 or 3. Now it does not mean that this value, all right, this is just a string value. So but what you enter here, the number determines this this choice. That is, if you enter 1, it will be triangle formula will be executed. If you enter 2, rectangle, and if you enter 3, circle formula will be executed. So that choice you enter in this choice 1. Now after inputting the value, the next step is to execute the formula, right? So if choice 1 equals to 1, so comparison is being done. So if you enter 1 from the keyboard, so 1 equals to 1, which is true, right? Then cout, enter the three sides of triangle, so which will be assigned to this variable n1, n2, and n3. Then the after that, all right, then in the case of this particular program, the formula is not executed here, only the cout statement, right? So now since the formula is executed in this part outside of the main function, that is in the call function, so now here ar equals to area n1 comma n2 comma n3. So now since you have the cout statement here, right, area of triangle is ar, so for that purpose this variable ar is assigned to this calling function. So this is the calling function which passes the value of n1, n2, and n3. So that arguments of n1, n2, n3 will be passed to this call function float a, float b, and float c, which is as per your function prototype declaration. So since three values are passed, right, so the best match for this particular calling function, to pass to the call function is this first function, that is float a, float b, and float c, right? So after that the formula will be executed here, right? Then return the value which is stored in this a1. So that value will be returned back to here and stored in this variable ar. Then the area of triangle value is displayed through this variable ar again. But if suppose the user enters choice 2, right, if the user enters the choice 2, then enter the length and width. So length and width will be assigned, and then see out area of rectangle is, alright, then the calling function. So what value is passed to the calling function, that will be displayed. So in the case of this calling function, as you can see that the function names are same, but here you can see that the number of parameters differs. Here only 3, here 3, here only 2. So the best match for this would be this particular this section of the call function, that is this function body to be executed. Alright, so it will be passed and stored in this variable lnw, and then after executing this formula it will be returned back and displayed here. But if you enter choice 3, then cout will display the message, enter the radius value will be entered here, maybe suppose like 10, and then cout area of circle is, this is the calling function. So it will invoke this, the last call function, that is float area, float radius, and then it will return this value back to the calling function. Alright, so if you execute this program, enter choice 1. So suppose you enter 3 sides of triangle, suppose like 12, 12 and 12. So you get the area of triangle is, alright. Now you let's say you enter a different choice say like 2, so length and width, so you get area of rectangle 144, right? Now if you enter choice 3, so radius, right, so you need to enter only one value, then you get this area of circle is, right? So I hope that you through this you have understand the concept of polymorphism or function overloading. Right, now the next one is from your review question part, that is question number 13. That is also another this is also like find the output of the following program. Alright, so here you can see that here you have a class definition, so it ends with a semicolon. So in the so this is the class, that is the keyword, and this is the class name, which is a user defined data type, then Adam. So within the class declaration you can see that here you have the call function. So this is the call function. So this is also another call function, and this is also another call function, which the return type is void because only cout statement is executed here, so nothing is returned back to the calling function or to the call to the main function. So print double, so here the function name is print. Right, here also we are using the concept of function overloading or polymorphism, but and in the case of this it in the case of this it passes double type, and cout will display this string message, that is double, and then in the case of this it passes integer type, and then it will display the message integer. In the case of this this function, it it passes this indirection operator, that is like pointers, okay, void star, and then so void pointer, and then it displays this message, right? So now it only has to display this message. So in the case of the main function, you can see that the class declares an object called EVE. So when the object gets declared, then the members of the class becomes the members of the class gets allocated with memory, right, space. So here you are seeing that here the variable ch, which is of character type, is assigned the value a. So as you can see that character is denoted, the values assigned to the characters denoted by this single quotation, and integer number is assigned the value 66, float pi is assigned the value 3.14, and then character st, which is a character array, is assigned the string value a string. So now after this assignment is done, assigning the values to the variable is done of different types. The object access the, that means the object is invoking the call function. All right. So now using the function name, all right, the object is accessing the call function. So it is passing the value of ch, that is a. Now in the case of this, you can see that the values will not be displayed, because in the cout statement only this string values will be displayed. But here what you can see that in the call function, that no parameter name is mentioned, but only the parameter type is mentioned, right? So here, so since the only the parameter type is mentioned, in the case of this, what we try to do is that we try the best match possible, right? That is finding the best match. So as you can see here, there are different data types, but in the case of the call function, it accepts a double type, integer type, and void, that is a pointer type, right? Indirection operator. So in the case of here, you can see that it has character, integer, float, and character. No double type is there. And then in the case of no pointer type is also there, right? So now what we have to do is that since there's no proper match of data type, then we find the best possible match which comes closely resembling to the data type. That means if there's no resemblance, then what we do is that we find the best data type which can match to that. That is, suppose like character can be matched to integer type, or float can be, since it is a real number with decimal point values, it can be matched with double, right? And in the case of the void pointer, it can be matched with this character array, because array, right, is associated with pointers, or that is the reference, right? So here in the case of the first calling function, right, when the object invokes the call function, then what will happen is that ch, which is character, right, then in the case of that, this call function, not this call function, but this call function will be invoked, because character can be converted to integer, right? So that a will be passed to here, right? And then in the place of that, cout int will be displayed, right? Secondly, when pi value is passed, so this is a float data type, so in that case this call function will be invoked, and then double message will be displayed. Or in the case of this st, all right, that is the string value, all right, so which is of character type, and this is also character. But in the case of this, the integer call function will be message will be displayed. But in the case of this is a string variable or a character array, right? So in that case, this integer value, this integer call function will not be invoked. But in the case of that, this void pointer will be invoked, all right? So in the case of this void pointer, it means that, okay, this can represent, it can accept any data type. It can be a character, it can be integer, it can be float, all right, or it can be character array. But the first best match is when this void pointer is there, okay, that then this value, when it is invoked, this string, a string, will be passed to here, not this integer, not this character a or integer 66 or this value, right? So next is print number, so number which will be passed to this integer, right? So if you run this particular program, Okay, there is an error, just wait. Print. Okay, is private, right? So as per the program, okay, this has been made private. So now you just let's say that I make this public. So now the member functions are made public. So now here what happens is, when you invoke this, all right, that is character. So in play, the conversion is done to integer. Then in the case of pi 3.14, the conversion is done to double. All right, so cout double will be displayed. In the case of print st, which is the character array, right? So the void pointer will be called, and then it will display this message void asterisk, right? Or in the case of the number, then integer cout statement will be displayed, right? So if suppose we change this to say like, okay, we change this to character array. In place of this character, we say we change this to character array like this. Then you'll see that you get a different output. Oh yes, closed. So now you can see that the void asterisk has been repeated twice, right? So similarly, let's say you change this integer to float. So finding the best match, it changed to float changes to double. All right. So there is a particular topic in your textbook that is on the finding the best possible match. All right. So just go through that and try to understand that topic based on this particular program. All right.